Hello everyone, my name is Devinder Kaur and today we will discuss about the air around us. So today in this video we will briefly discuss about the major components of air, what kind of gases are present in air and how air helps us to survive. So first of all we should know that air is very essential for us to live. If there is no air we are unable to breathe. Well, we can live for some days without food or water, but we can survive for some days without food or water, but we cannot survive few minutes without air. So that's why air is most important to us to live or survive. So let's discuss about it. So first of all we should know that moving or blowing air is known as wind. The air molecules, when they move very faster at faster rate, vibrating or colliding with each other, they collaboratively form wind and we feel it. Well, we cannot taste air, we cannot eat air, we cannot touch air, but we can feel air when it is moving around us. Okay, we feel it through our skin, through our hair, or you can say with the moving curtains or leaves, and many more examples you can take around your surroundings. Okay, so moving air is known as wind. Now what is this air? Okay, well, air is composed of many gases, or you can say the many molecules of gases present. Okay, they collaboratively called as air. Well, air starts from the surface of the earth and it extends up to the atmosphere of the earth. So what is this atmosphere? Atmosphere is actually a thick layers of air which is surrounding the earth. You can see it through this picture that actually atmosphere is a sort of blanket which surrounds the earth and protects the earth from the harmful radiations like ultraviolet radiations, cosmic rays and many more. Okay, so this atmosphere plays a huge role for the survival of us on the earth, and this atmosphere extends up to 300 kilometers of height above the surface of earth. Now let us discuss about the components of air. Well, number one is nitrogen. Air is composed of 78% of nitrogen. Well, the air present on our earth is composed of 78% of nitrogen, and this nitrogen gas neither supports burning and neither burns nor burns itself. Okay, this nitrogen nor burns itself and neither supports the process of burning. So it is a non-combustible kind of gas. Okay, now this nitrogen plays a huge role on our earth, as most of the nitrogen, when the lightning occurs due to clouds or thundering of clouds, when we get to see the lightning, the process of lightning, the most of nitrogen gets reacted with oxygen, forming nitrogen dioxide, and when the water vapors condenses during the process of water cycle, it gets mixed with the water, forming nitric acid, and this acidic rain, when falls on the surface of earth, it falls on this soil and it is absorbed by the soil and thus absorbed by the roots of many plants, and this nitrogen helps in the process of making protein. Actually this nitrogen is being converted in the form of protein, which is digested by us human beings and animals, and it plays a huge role in the process of bodybuilding of us. Okay, that's why nitrogen is that important. Nitrogen is not a waste gas in our atmosphere. It is actually very helpful, but it helps us very indirect way. Now there is another example of nitrogen which is consumed by rhizobium bacteria present in the root nodules of leguminous plants. Now these leguminous plants have some special sort of root nodules, and this rhizobium bacteria actually captures the direct nitrogen from atmosphere, and then these then converts these leguminous plants. These leguminous plants convert this nitrogen into protein, and that's why most of the leguminous plants are high in protein for us. For example, pea plant, urad dal, and many form of pulses. Now let's discuss about one of the most important gases, which is oxygen, which is present in 21% in our atmosphere. Now this oxygen plays a huge role because it is consumed by us. We breathe in oxygen, we and animals breathe in oxygen. Not just us, aquatic plants and aquatic life is also dependent upon the water dissolved oxygen. So that's why oxygen plays a huge role on the survival of us. So this oxygen not only just gets breathed in our body and helps in the process of oxyhemoglobin and gives us energy, it is also responsible for the burning of materials. It burns itself, or also it helps in the process of burning. You have coal or petroleum and you do not have oxygen around it, you would not be able to burn it, because oxygen is actually a combustible gas and it helps in the combustion, in the process of combustion. That's why oxygen plays a huge role on earth. Now you would have paid attention that the mountain climbers and the deep sea divers take oxygen cylinder with them, because well, in case of mountain climbing, as we go high on the altitude, the atmospheric pressure as well as oxygen, the amount of oxygen decreases. Similarly, when we go down in deep sea, the amount of oxygen and the water decreases and the water pressure increases. So for that case, we need the oxygen cylinder. Of course, we cannot consume the water dissolved oxygen. We do not have gills, we only have lungs. Now let's discuss about a very important gas which is present in very less quantity, but because of this gas we are able to eat food. Okay, and that gas is carbon dioxide. Well, this carbon dioxide is present in very less amount of 0.03%. Well, nowadays it is found to be increasing, but this gas plays a huge role in the preparation of food by the plants due to the process of photosynthesis. Well, plants have leaves and these leaves have stomata. This stomata takes in carbon dioxide with them, and this carbon dioxide helps in the process of photosynthesis in making or preparing their own food and then converting that starch into glucose. And this is how we are able to breathe, because when they take in carbon dioxide, they also give out oxygen, and that oxygen is consumed by us. Okay, now the oxygen produced by the process of photosynthesis is very huge as compared to the carbon dioxide breathed out by us. That's why the oxygen present on earth is in huge amount as compared to the carbon dioxide. Well, carbon dioxide can also be found to be evolving out from the burning of gases or materials, from the smoke of industries or factories. So there's no way out that carbon dioxide can be decreased or reduced, but we can plant more trees so that if there is a huge excess of carbon dioxide, we still have some option to get some oxygen for us to breathe. Now let us discuss about the water vapors. Now not just the oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide is present in atmosphere, water vapors are also present in atmosphere. Now these water vapors are also important because they are helpful in the process of water cycle, and due to this process the rain or snow comes to occur on our earth. And it is also important because if there is no water cycle, if there is no rain, then on some parts there would be no water and there would be the situation of drought. Okay, so that's why water vapors are also important. Now one more thing to know, that if there is excess of water vapor or in the air, if there are some water vapor, water vapors cannot be seen, but it can be felt in the form of humidity. So the presence of water vapor in the air is actually known as humidity. When these water vapors get evaporated due to the heat of sun, they go up in the atmosphere, and in the atmosphere they tend to be cooled down and condense, and thus they form cloud. And when these clouds get heavy with these water vapors, they form the water droplets, and which come to earth as rain. We can also say that when these get in the higher altitude, they come down in the form of snow. Now it's time for the dust particles. Well, the amount of water vapor and dust particles tends to be increase or decrease. That means it is completely variable. It all depends upon how much has water vapor been evaporated or how much has been dust storms. Okay, these dust storms tend to have some dust particles in the air, and these dust particles keep on increasing or decreasing. So you can also see some dust particles in the air if you have a dark room and you have covered the windows too with the black colored paper or black chart, and you have just a hole, and when you completely darken the room by switching off the lights, you would get to see some sunlight when you have to do it in the sunlight in the daytime. When you get to see the sunlight from that dark room, you would tend to see those dust particles present in the atmosphere. Now it's time for our next topic, which is air supports life. Well, air supports life, and in this case I have already told you that oxygen plays a huge role in the support of life. Well, oxygen is breathed in by us, it is breathed in by animals, it is breathed in by aquatic animals, it is breathed in by aquatic plant. The whole aquatic life is dependent on water dissolved oxygen, and our life is also depends upon the oxygen present in air. If there is no oxygen in air, then how would we able to breathe? And from where do we get oxygen? Well, we get most of the good and pure oxygen from the plants when they give out through the process of photosynthesis. Now it's time for the nitrogen. As I had told you earlier that most of the nitrogen has been absorbed by plants through the atmosphere by the process of lightning, that the nitrogen gets reacted with the oxygen forming nitrogen dioxide, then it comes down with the rain in the form of nitric acid, and when it dissolves in soil, it has been absorbed by the roots of the plant forming the protein. Similarly, it has also been absorbed by the leguminous plants which have root nodules, and they also convert that protein with the help of rhizobium bacteria. They get this nitrogen and then they convert this nitrogen into protein, which has been consumed by us and helps in the bodybuilding of us. Then comes the carbon dioxide. Well, we tend to blame carbon dioxide for global warming. Well, yes, it is a cause of global warming, but it is also a cause of life on earth. If there would be no carbon dioxide, what plants would breathe? Plants are able to breathe carbon dioxide, do the process of photosynthesis, prepare their own food, and then give out oxygen. So if we would take in or suck out the complete carbon dioxide from earth, the plants would die. And if they would die, we would not get the oxygen, the proper amount of oxygen, and then hence we also will get that. Okay, so that's why carbon dioxide is also very responsible for the support of life. Now you would have been thinking by taking the example of rhizobium bacteria that there are some insects, there are some animals which live under the soil, right? They live underground, they tend to live underground, and whenever it rains they come out. Now why does this happen? So well, the insects like earthworm or some animals which live under the soil tend to breathe through the soil. Well, how would they breathe? Soil has some soil particles too, of course, and these soil particles has some spaces which gets aerated. Aerated means they have some spaces and air is present in them. Okay, so the underground animals tend to breathe that oxygen, that air, and give out that carbon dioxide. Also, they tend to live under the roots of the plants, because under the roots of the plants they get to have more air, because the roots of the plants keeps on growing, they keeps on invading the soil, and the shape of the soil or the composition of soil gets changing and it stays aerated. But there is a kind of soil known as clay soil. The clay soil is the most waterlogged soil. When you add water to the clay soil, it becomes so stiff and so hard that it would be as hard as rock. So, but there are some plants that tend to grow in that kind of soil, and those plants are known as mangroves. Well, mangroves tend to have some roots known as breathing roots. They take out their roots to breathe, and they have a skeleton type shape. These kind of plants also grow only in clay soil, but they also take out their roots to breathe. So they actually you can say sort of compromise with the soil to survive, and they also live in that kind of soil. And this kind of soil is found in the marshy areas. Now there's a point I want to share with you, that there should be a balance between oxygen and carbon dioxide. If there is excess of oxygen, plants would not be able to breathe, and if there is excess of carbon dioxide, we would not be able to breathe. That's why there should be a balance in air, oxygen and carbon dioxide in air, to form a balance between the amount of plants or forest and between the animals or human beings. Not just and human beings. Animals also have their right to live, to survive on this planet. Now, in most of the uses of air, first of all, the basic use of air is oxygen, because oxygen helps us to breathe, and carbon dioxide because it helps the process of photosynthesis for the plants, and then they are able to give us oxygen. Then comes the compressed air, which is used in the cylinders, to inflate the balloons, in tires, and in many more options. And then comes the wind energy. The energy created by the moving air or wind is used to convert into electrical energy, and that electrical energy is used by us. Well, moving air also has some force, and this force helps the yachts, gliders, parachutes to float or move. Now let's discuss about the role of atmosphere. Atmosphere plays an important role in maintaining the temperature of Earth. When sun rays fall on Earth, some of them get absorbed by the atmosphere and the rest are reflected back. Now this trapped heat prevents the Earth's atmosphere from getting too much cool at night. It also helps in the weather changes. The air present in atmosphere gets heated by sunlight, and the hot air rises up and the cold air takes its place. So in this way, air moves and the wind blows. Since the presence of water vapor in air is also responsible for rainfall and snowfall. Then comes the ozone layer, which is present in the upper atmosphere, called stratosphere, that absorbs the harmful ultraviolet rays. These rays can cause skin cancer and other problems if they are reached on Earth. So today we have discussed about the various uses and components of air which is around us. I hope you have found my video useful, and if you found it useful, share it with your friends. Thank you for watching.